This week on Fish Ed, Jon shares a shallow water bass and walleye pattern that includes tempting hungry predators with a type of bait many anglers overlook.
There's one. Oh yeah, that feels like a really good fish. That's a good fish. This is a really good fish, I'll tell you that right now. This fish hit it 3 different times. And one of the biggest tricks to how I'm fishing is having the patience to let these fish come back and continue hitting a bait. Because I'm fishing a pretty big minnow. You know, maybe a bigger minnow than one would expect. It's a good smallmouth. I'm fishing a sucker minnow first, okay? And when you're fishing a sucker minnow, a lot of times what'll happen is these fish, they'll come and hit it, but then they'll let go of it and then they'll come back and hit it again. And that'll happen multiple times. It's just crazy how many times that can sometimes say, oh, you know what, is that a smallmouth or a good walleye? Oh, it's a smallmouth. But this fish came back and hit it multiple times, and you've got to have the patience to leave that rod sit there knowing that he's going to come back and hit it again. Now sometimes if I'm having one of those days where I'm not getting them hooked up as well as I feel like I should, what I'll do is I'll grab that rod and I'll lay it back to him even so that if they're still following it, it's a really fun fish. There's nothing like a smallmouth on light tackle. Come here, buddy. Look at that. Great fish to start the day. But this was a deal where it was all about having the patience to let that fish hit it, drop it, and believe he was going to come back and get it. Because here's the thing I'll tell you. Part of the reason I'm fishing a sucker minnow this morning is it is so hard for a fish, a bass, a walleye, whatever it may be, to take a sucker minnow off of a hook because their lip is so rubbery that when you hook them up, they can't just grab it and tear it off. Now, I've got shiners with me today too, and I might fish some shiners, but if they'll hit that sucker minnow, I'm gonna fish a sucker because right there, that fish followed it, hit it, doubled that rod over, and then on the 3rd time, he finally got it down, and he never got that minnow off. There he is. There he bit it again. I was just thinking to myself, why didn't he bite it again? There he is, got him. You know, this fish bit it, and I could not figure out why he didn't bite it again, because usually, once they bite it once, they'll bite it a 2nd time, and this guy, it took him a long time, so what happened is he just basically looked at it. This one might be a walleye. We'll see. And now he's acting like a bass. But it took him a long time to come back and hit it that 2nd time. Usually they come back and they hit it pretty quick. So I was just reaching down to grab that rod, and what I was going to do is just lay it back. Yeah, there you go. It is a walleye. I thought that might be a walleye, just the way he was acting. Look at that. Nice walleye. Really pretty fish. But what happened, and that's probably why, because a walleye, even in this shallow stuff, is going to be far less aggressive than what those bass are going to be. Look at that, great fish. Man, all day long, I could just sit and catch fish. I don't care if they're smallmouth bass, walleyes, whatever it is. That's an awesome fish. We'll let him go. Here's what I want to talk about a little bit is the location I'm fishing, because you look around, there's not a soul near me today. If I'm fishing 8 feet right now, I came a little shallower that pass. I'm fishing out to as deep as 10, okay? And there's fish just stacked up in here, but here's what you're looking for. What's important about these spots at this time of the year is it's not like a sugar sand. It's not muck. The weeds aren't growing good yet. This is rock. So what you're looking for is rocks, boulders, anywhere where these fish can ambush bait. Because up on sugar sand, you know, I'm on a lake that's got sand in it as well. On sand, there's not going to be a lot of bait. It's already moved. It's been chased out. It's gone, okay? And it's warmed up a little bit quicker. These rocks here, there's always bait in the rocks because the bait can get down in those crevices and they can hide out, and that's gonna keep game fish here. There he is. Got him. I would guess I got a walleye here. Oh no, no, good smallmouth. Must have just caught his belly rolling a little bit. Good smallmouth. See if we can get the deal finished. He's actually a really good fish. Just goes to show you how much is going on out here, all in the same areas. Oh yeah. Smallmouth on light tackle. How do you beat it? It is so much fun. Come on, buddy. Come on. There we go. Really nice one. Good fish. Look at that. He is a pretty one too. Look at that. What an awesome fish. Not a giant, but just a good smallmouth anywhere you go. And pound for pound, maybe the best fighting fish you'll ever find. That is something else. What a cool fish. I'm gonna get this guy back in water and let me show you how I'm doing this. Because it is so simple, and you can go do this on your own. And man, it's just easy. Anybody can do this. I'm gonna drop that fish back in here. And let me show you the setup. Because it is as simple as it gets. Number one, this is my Lindy rig rod, okay? Medium to medium light action so that they can actually roll that tip back when they hit. But really important when I say actually medium to medium light power. Action, I want a fast action rod. And what that means is it's going to bend that tip over. More of the bend's going to be in the tip. And you're going to have backbone on this part of the rod. Okay, so that's where you're going to be able to fight that fish, and that's where it's actually going to get your hook set. The rest of the rod is going to have the majority of the bend, and that's where the fish is going to be able to eat up that minnow, okay? So that's why I'm using that rod. It's a 7-foot 2-inch rod I'm using today, but man, any good Lindy rigging rod is going to take care of you here. And then it's really, really easy. That's a Lindy jig right there. It's a 16th ounce. I just picked this color this morning because you know what? It's just a good color. Black is always a good color jig. It's actually probably pretty overlooked. A good friend of mine fishes a black jig pretty much all the time, and you know what? He does pretty well, okay? But that's just a simple 16th ounce Lindy jig. Special thing about the Lindy jig, when you go buy a Lindy jig, every single one of those line ties is clean. And it's just a good looking jig. It's durable, good strong hook. So it's a really simple setup. Most everybody's got this in their boat already. All you got to do is go out and do it the way we're doing it here. It's pretty simple deal. There he is. That one feels like smallmouth. Well, we'll see. Now he's coming awful easy. Just swimming toward me, maybe? Nah, it's gotta be a smallmouth. Holy smokes. Stripping line like that, that's gotta be a smallmouth bass. Came in here, made it pass a little bit shallower. When I say a little shallower, I'm talking a foot. Look at that fish go. Holy smokes. That's gotta be a good smallmouth. Look at that. Oh yeah. I think it is. I think it's a big, big smallmouth. That is so cool. When fish get to that point on you where they're just running, like this guy. Now he's coming back across the other way. There he is. Yeah, it's a big smallmouth bass. Big smallmouth. One of the keys, you gotta have your drag loose doing this when you know you're gonna get some of these fish, because it's a big fish. And I'll tell you what, he can tear the hooks out of his own mouth. He's so powerful when he gets going. It's a big fish, holy smokes. Look at him go the other way under the boat. Oh man. Wow, this water's so clear I can see him. He's a big, beautiful fish. Look at this fish, giant. Oh geez, come here buddy, come on. This is a giant fish. I just got to get a little more line. He took just enough line on me to put me in a bad spot there. Come on, buddy. There we go. Got him. Wow. Big fish. big fish. Look at this giant. Wow, that's a giant smallmouth bass. Holy smokes. That fish is all of 5 pounds, probably bigger. Sometimes they're so hard to gauge. Look at that, he was hooked right in the side of the mouth. Man, this is easy fishing, and it is fun. Look at that. What an awesome fish. What a great way to wrap up a day. Get out and do this though. Pick some of these spots in these shallower areas where you've got rocks, and get these fish in that June time frame when the smallmouth are coming in to do their spawn, finishing up and just moving out, and the walleyes are lingering here. Man, I'll tell you what, this is some of the funnest fishing of the year. Catching fish like that is just great. You mix in those walleyes. Holy smokes, is that fun.